Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 38. Today we are bringing you that video you've been waiting all week for. We will be playing with the Scouts today. And so, yeah, the Scouts. This is what I believe to be the best deck in the format, if not the best. It's certainly up there in the top three. One of the big things with the Scouts deck before we get into the list itself is it's really good against the very popular decks in the meta. The Sun Disk is the most popular deck still, very winnable, very strong matchup. The next popular deck is Pirates. That's the Misfortune, Twisted Fate, Gangplank, Burn based decks. Quite strong against that. And then the next in the top three is going to be the various flavors of Caitlyn, the Caitlyn Ezreal, Caitlyn Swains, the Caitlyn based Noxus burn removal control style decks, quite good against pirates. And so that is one of our weaker matchups, but the thing that we do that no one else really seems to be doing these days is playing Stony Suppressors. And so quite good against any deck just loaded up on spells. You know, if your opponent's spending 3 mana on Mystic Shots and 4 mana on Get Exciteds, very tough for them to get enough presence on the board to stop what you're doing. And so the thing that we like to say about the Stony Suppressor is it's not going to come down and just win you the game. You know, if you are a magician in your past life and you're used to playing decks like Dredge or Reanimator or something, and your opponent would play a Rest in Peace, you lost that game. That game was done. That's not how it feels with the Stony Suppressor, but it does give you a gigantic advantage against these spell-based decks as soon as it comes down. And so, in addition to the Ezreal Caitlins of the world, there are still tons and tons and tons of Victors running around. If you get to, nerf Victor's Augment back up to 1 mana and make the Ignitions cost 2 mana, they're in a real bind as far as getting their cards going. And the same thing applies to all the Aphelios decks. The Aphelios decks needing to get them Nightfall to generate the Moon Weapon and then making the Moon Weapons cost 3 mana. It's not a burden that can't be overcome, but it typically slows our opponents down enough to where the disruption really alters their game plan, and we can burst ahead and take advantage of it. And so the Stony Suppressor is the big thing that you'll be seeing out of this deck that you don't commonly see amongst the Scouts. And then otherwise, this is the same list we played in our previous Gauntlet video. The only change there is the addition of Radiant Guardian. And so in the previous video, we were running a Jin Vivi. This was back in the space to where the Sun Disk deck was about 15-20% of the meta, and I wanted to have some extra punch, right? The way that we look for these games to sequence is we'll get some early board presence. We'll get these early game challengers with the Fleet Feather Tracker and the Petricite Broadwing. We'll get to kill some of our opponent's units while ours don't die, ideally with the likes of Brightsteel Protector or Misfortune herself. And then we just get a big wide board, right? Once we have a big wide board, we can give all of our units +3/+3 with the Vanguard Sergeant, or we can give them all a boost with Cytheria. Should be enough to chunk through for a ton of damage, maybe wipe out your opponent's board, and then you can close out the game with the Golden Aegis. And so that's the kind of like general game plan that you'll follow. Build out some board, get a full board, and then find some way to take advantage of that full board. And so we'll dive into it a little bit more as the games progress. But yeah, pretty good stuff here. We've been a big fan of this deck. We'll talk about the more specific matchups as they present themselves to us. And so before we can dive in, I was questioning whether or not I was going to do it, but man, I love this deck so much that we're just going to come in here and do it. As you can see, everything is premium except the Quinn, and we will pay the price today. The price has been paid. The pay-to-win fee has been gone. It's done, stamped and approved, and we are ready for battle now. Yeah, we'd probably just be rank 1 at the end of the day now that the entire deck is premium. I don't think anyone can come in and outdo that. I'm going to have so many LPs. Yeah, it's going to feel good. But yeah, this has been nice. The way that the meta is kind of like shook out in Masters over the past week or so is the Sun Disk is starting to die out. That's what we're playing against here. But with the Sun Disk dying down, it really kind of opens up the rest of the format to play slower things. What you used to run into with the Sun Disk is if your deck was trying to go to like turn 8 or turn 9, you could just never beat the Emperor's deck or whatever it's called. And so it just literally annihilated every every control deck in the format. And so then people kind of started figuring out the ambushed based decks and the strategies it took to beat the Sun Disk. And once Victor Riven started to make an appearance, it really started to tank off in popularity. But as we always talk about these Sun Disk decks, you're going to look for a way to either attack through them with Overwhelm, you're going to try and attack around them with Elusive, or you attack twice with some kind of rally. And we have the rallies in here with the Golden Aegis. Cytherea plays to that to a degree as well, in that she can potentially help us attack around some of these smaller dum-dums like Clockling. I just don't suspect it's going to happen too frequently. Okay, so Misfortune will be at risk here. We can play Misfortune, but then he can follow up with Ruin Runner. I think I'm okay with that. Like, it's not ideal if he plays a unit and just kills our Misfortune, but this is just a super, super powerful draw if he doesn't have a 3-attack unit right now. Ruin Runner is the only one that it could be. Excellent, excellent. Get these scouts on board now. Oh, we got the banner? God, we're good at this game. Got the umbrella off the squire. Okay, happy enough to take the Endless Devout down now. A lot of times you want to keep this unit alive, since they do have some combos with generating the sarcophagus, but we have such an aggressive board here. We need to get the damages in, and we have this Misfortune we're trying to preserve, and so I would like to have that unit gone before the next turn rolls around. I think I'm okay to hit with Misfortune here, though. He's gonna be able to just kill her next turn. Like, the downside to a Misfortune attack here is if he blocks with the Clockling and then hooks her with a Zir next turn, but I think this is good and fine. What you doing? You taking the unit, or you taking the Misfortune? God, these cards are so shiny. I gotta get some sunglasses or something for this. So much premium out here. It's hard to handle. Okay, so the thing we'll have to watch for on this turn is if he does try and get clever on us, right? He comes down and, I don't know, drops a Zerath or something. We can just Brightsteel Protector our Misfortune, and she should be pretty safe for the turn. So I think that's what I'm looking to do here. Just load her up with the Brightsteel. We could... What do we think of this, though? This could potentially be a Golden Aegis turn that also results in a flipped Misfortune. I think that's where we want to go with this. Let's do this. Go ahead and protect Misfortune. It's going to be tough for him to like blow up the sarcophagus. I think this game's just going to be done here. Give the second barrier to the Island Navigator so that it can attack the second time this turn. Boomed him. Yeah, ripped right through. Feels good, man. Feels good. That's right. That's why you're the captain, Misfortune. It's so wild. All the Bilgewater cards in the game are so terrible. Just except Misfortune. Just when check it. Yeah, we gotta do something about that. Nice little amount of LP that we've acquired. Oh, that's beautiful. I can't remember in my Hearthstone ranks in terms of hitting the top of the ladder. If I'm pretty certain I'd hit rank 420 before. I can't remember if I hit rank 69. It's tough. It's tough. Now here, I'm not exactly sure the contents of the Swain Nar deck. This is not something I'm super familiar with. I think I want to get rid of like one of these cards, and if we're getting rid of one, it's probably just got to be the Mirai Warden. Now the downside to that is, like, depending on the amount of Bandle City stuff that they're doing, they should have a lot of go wide abilities, and so it is nice to be able to get 2 units on the board. But I think I'd rather just dig for a Misfortune. Lots of board control here, though. He's gonna run into this spot next turn to where either just it has to accept that we're gonna blast him for 5 damage, or risk throwing a unit in front of our barrier challenger. Says, give me the damages, please. Okay. Swaynar. This is like it's like this isn't the Bandle tree, is it? I know the Bandle tree decks typically play Noxus because of the House Spider, but it's a suspicious way to be going about this. But we're gonna have a full board next turn with access to a Ranger's Resolve. I think we should just be getting a pretty big blowout here. Right, so we can play the Mirai Warden, we can play the Brightsteel Protector, and then have the Ranger's Resolve as well. I like it. Or we could just attack here. I mean, if he attacks, we can get it now. Okay, we'll just take the 2 from this guy. I want to be able to get multiple units of value on this Ranger's Resolve. What we got? Daring Poro? Not the deck you usually see him in. He's not usually out here hanging out with the scouts. So who do we want to put our bonus on? I think we need to do it over here on the bird, right? Every unit he has is going to kill the bird. We would have to hook it onto the spiderling. That's very suspicious. At least this way we get good hooks with the broadwing on these other units. And it's not as obvious. I think this guy's playing Bandle Tree, right? I don't know. He's playing Inventive Chemist, though. This very, very strange collection of cards he's presented to us. They don't play anything that copies, so I'm just going to come in and take down the 2 health units. And so if we ever come out here with a misfortune, then it should be a bunch of units we'd be able to kill. But see, now we're getting the 3 saves on our Ranger's Resolve as opposed to last turn it would have just been on Conchologist. It's pretty good. God, I hope he plays Pokey Stick. I guess it sucks if he like Pokey Sticks the bird. But man, if he drops a Pokey Stick and we just completely annihilate this turn, it's gonna feel nice. Do we still Ranger's Resolve? I think we do. Oh, it protects 1 unit and 1 damage on the Broadwing. Let's let it go. This might get us in a space to a little bit faster Golden Aegis. Okay. So we can play the Vanguard Sergeant. We can't do the 4 Demacia plus Golden Aegis next turn, but we can do it on our opponent's next attack token. Pretty okay with everything happening here. I'm going to go with the sharp side on this. Should be a bit of extra work for him to get around this. Like, it's kind of awkward, right? The idea here you would see is that if, say we play a Ranger's Resolve on this, and then our opponent gets the free Pokey Stick back, it's kind of awkward. I think this is fine. Right, so the like idea here was, I felt like on the previous turn, he correctly deduced that we had a Ranger's Resolve, or he was at least ready to play around it. And so it kind of feels a little challenging on a turn like that, to where if we want to, he knows that we probably have Ranger's Resolve. It's kind of like a leveling thing. It's where if we have Ranger's Resolve, that attack with Gnar is pretty bad. And so it feels like he has something else that isn't Pokey Stick to kind of take advantage of that combat. Maybe he was just like so far behind he needs something to go right. But either way, I'm pretty fine with this. We can either get a big Golden Aegis attack this turn, or we can wait until next turn and punch. Probably just wait until next turn. Do we ever lethal him here? Probably just need to hit for the damage. right? We're hitting for 10. He's at 11. We can Golden Aegis for the second attack. All right. All right, let's not be too clever. I love a big flashy play, but we don't need to be too clever here. Okay. I've always been kind of interested in Yordle Portal. It's getting these burst units is quite good, but it's there's definitely like a lot of misses in there. Okay, we win. Yay. Mark it a W. W. In the W column for old FTP bust. Sure. Cupcake. Got him. Nice. Feels good, man. Feels good. God, I love this deck so much. Losing our rank 69 though, it's kind of depressing. A little bit on the sad side of things. Don't notice this. How are we looking today? Can't tell. I still got my square. when I was growing up, I think the kids might be doing it again. I don't know, but we used to get like lightning bolts and lines and stuff, carved in the sides of our heads. I like to imagine. I know that that Patrick Mahomes wasn't the inventor of that haircut, like where they grow out the hair, the kind of like mohawky thing, but then shave it down on the sides. I think that was something that like came out of like the K-pop culture and such. I don't know. I'm not a history of fucking haircuts, but I like to imagine the way that happened and the way that came about was here. We'll keep the sculptor misfortune and look for other cheap plays. Was that the dude sits down at the barber shop and the guy's like he's like just fucking buzzes down the side of his head and he's like, oh shit, dude, what do you want me to do? And he's like, just whatever, just rolling with it, and then he just lives with it. Carries it like a boss. I'm pretty sure that's the way that style of haircut came about. But nonetheless, here we have a real decision in that Ruin Runner is the card that they want to be playing here, and it gives us a bit of awkwardness. I think I'm just going to go with the Durandi Sculptor. If he has the Ruin Runner, we're just never attacking, right? And then if he doesn't have it, we're only missing out on 1 point of damage. So I think this is good here, and that if we still roll into the next turn, we'll get to start boosting our misfortunes. That was a choice draw in the Bright Steel. You shouldn't have anything big enough to combat a misfortune here now. This is the real bonus in adding in the Sculptor. Oop. No thanks, friend. No thanks. All right. And so we have a choice here in that do we want to get the Broadwing plus Bright Steel or do we want to go for the Scout? And I think I just want to go for the Scout. Like, if the extent of his play this turn is like a Zerath, fucking fine. We'll slam right into Zerath, ready for combat. But when stuff like this happens, it looks pretty good. Is he like really gonna contest a misfortune by leaving one of these units around? No, he's not. That's kind of awkward and annoying. I give you that. So we're only getting in for an additional 3 damage this turn. 2 from the Durandi, 1 from Misfortune. Like, I can see a world where he doesn't block with the Treasure Seeker. I think this is going to be a little bit overzealous from our opponent. Okay. We can look to use the Make It Rain. I don't think that's going to be necessary. We don't really have to play any of these cards here. I think we can skip over this. So we'll get this hit in, see what he plans to do. We can then follow up with Cytherea, and we have a Make It Rain if we need to. Don't think we'll be making it rain, but we're in pretty tip-top shape here. Sure. You managed a boomer.
Show them what we're made of.
Rip. GG. Told you the Sun Disc matchup was good. It's not like 80-20 or something, but it's still pretty positive. All right, give me all them LPs. Maybe we'll get up to 169 LP today. Get the double 69er. Double nice. The important things in life. Nobody wants to play anymore. They know that we're running out and about with the scouts. Just too much to handle. There we go. Are you all still out there playing against the Porobot? Are you still getting your expeditions in? I'm curious what expedition looks like these days now that they quit passing out the tokens. Just playing against the Porobot like 4 and 5 times in a trial. Sad days. Sad days. Here, this is not an ideal start. He's playing the Mount Targon ramp deck. That's usually what this is. It's a little odd seeing Trundle. More people play Zoe as opposed to Trundle, but this combo still tends to be the ramp deck. There we go. So Durandi Sculptor is pretty decent here. Their big way to combat what we're doing is through the various AoEs. And so with the Sculptor being here, giving some of our units this bonus health, right, that makes it so Brightsteel Protector can now survive a Blighted Ravine or whatever avalanche kind of card they're trying to play on us. So we should be able to chunk in for a monster attack this turn. Like, definitely playing the Brightsteel. I want to lead with Brightsteel just in case he has Avalanche. So, right, if we lead with a Mirai Warden, we're going to have 2 units on board that die to Avalanche. Now, this way, we can either just play the Brightsteel, which is the safer one, or the Mirai Warden, which gets more damage in. I'm not going to like specifically play around Avalanche because I think we have enough board. So I'm going to drop the Warden here, unless he like plays Trundle. If he plays Trundle, we might have to rethink it. But in terms of his AoEs, I'm going for the Warden. Oh boy, oh boy, here comes the squad. Take him to 9. Pretty close to lethal. Oh, and he hits the 4 Demacia. Nice. Nice. We got a little bit of stuff to worry about here. He hit Catalyst to the Aeon, so we don't have to worry anymore. Like, if he hits, like, at the stairs or something, then we're just going to lose. But we're set now. This game's done. Make sure we have enough mana for everything. We have 6. That's going to be perfect. Here's a dude. He has to... Whenever you drop the 4 Demacia, they have to know what's coming up next. You don't just play it when you don't have the rally. Cupcake it. Aegis it. This is the perfect emote for the cat. Alright. GG. Nice little 4-0 start. Good job, Scouts. I knew you had it in you. I think this is how I eventually jumped up into Masters. I think I went on a tear like an 8-0 or a 10-0 run and just ran straight through. It was pretty powerful. I know I played like a very, very, very small number of games between like Diamond 2 and into Masters. So it was like maybe 8 or 10 games. Rolled right through with the Scouts. Okay, some Nightfall. Apparently Nightfall is making a bit of a resurgence these days. It surprised me with Nightfall. Here, we can get actual pretty good usage out of the Stony Suppressor. But the thing with Nightfall was, like, Diana is incredibly good at just, like, picking on small units. And I was always envisioning this kind of world to where we're just playing Dianas into... like Bandle City, and it never seemed to really come about, but I always kind of like the idea of Diana just attacking down a bunch of conchologists and everything. I think the problem there was like they just don't care, right? You know, if you're making Nightfall plays into conchologist, then he does have the Diana. Then it's not like super exciting, you know. They've already got their value out of the conchologist, and your Diana's not really doing enough. But yeah, this is so tempting to. This is such a tempting place to just go ahead and drop the suppressor. I don't think we can. If he just sends it back to us, that's a win enough. I want him to like get his attack in. See, the thing with the suppressor is if his play is to make a either a Pale Cascade or an Unspeakable Horror, then he's not going to have the mana to play through the suppressor. But is this too much damage? I mean, we still can just like pivot to the Bright Steel. It's just like such awkward mana the rest of the way. I really want to like spend all 3 mana on Misfortune this turn, the next turn play the Suppressor and the Bright Steel, but this is just like a ton of damage coming through. I feel like we're the control deck here. Let's not let this happen.
I've got your back. No
So he can hook our 3/2 with Diana and still chunk in the 4, but it's not as painful. Interesting. Definitely happy to take 0 here. It's a bold move, my dude. That's much better. That's better. But interestingly enough, the soldier does have 1 health now. You know, it's 2 units that fall to just Misfortune attacks. All right, that was a pretty powerful draw in the Broadwing. I don't want to lead with the Suppressor. I want him to spend some mana. Like, watch this. He's going to play like a 3-drop here. And then try and have the Pale Cascade. That's not quite how these decks work. He's going to be able to boost the Diana. The only 3-drop I think they typically play is Doom Beast. But ready for battle now. Diana won't flip here. She needs 2 Nightfalls to go to the strong side. Cool. We picked up the Overwhelm fragment. That can be incredibly relevant if we get this board of Quinn Misfortune, and then we start giving Quinn Overwhelm when she gets scout attacks with the Misfortune damage out there. Like, we're kind of far away from lethal now, but that is a path to just dealing tons and tons and tons of damage. Plays Broadwing, interesting. Or copies Broadwing. Like, I'd really just like to get the Radiant down. Let's wait. I don't think I'm too worried about the damage coming in here. How worried are we now?
The night, her kingdom.
Isn't Giant Diana yet? Not yet. So he's going to be able to ace our board and hit us for 8. Okay. I think we just have to accept this damage here. I'm going to follow up with the Sculptor and Misfortune, and then we'll do Quinn the next turn. Interesting, he doesn't play his Broadwing. God, do we actually just go for the Radiant? It has the potential for so much damage here, and they don't play removal. They have Unspeakable Horrors. I think we have to drop the Radiant. We can still drop Misfortune next turn, and potentially get a good hook into a unit with the extra Misfortune damage. It's interesting. Interesting in the Fleet Feather. Okay.
Every work demands
Okay, okay, let's get on board.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
A slight adjustment.
Says, uh-oh, Bust bringing that heat now. He bringing that thunder. And Doom Beast. Sure.
Looking for trouble. It found you.
So I think like the question this turn is like, how much do we feel like attacking into Diana? He only has one card in hand, right? So we can, like, pretty realistically, we Unspeakable Horrors. Okay. So we're doing this, and we're attacking with the Radiant. Do we actually want to attack with Misfortune? Right? So we're basically saying, okay, do you want to trade Misfortune for the Crescent Guardian? And I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and try and chunk in this damage. See how fast he snapped that off? We just need time here. As long as we have time, we're going to be completely okay. And the Crescent Guardian is one of the ways that this board can be scary. Okay. Now this can suck a little if like he's like, herder, here's my Eclipse Dragon, right? Then that starts to suck quite a bit for us. But in terms of this combat here, this is pretty okay. He doesn't have any good hits on the Radiant at this point. All right, he's pretty tapped out. We gotta get one more unit on board here. We okay with the Broadwing hooking Quinn? I think that's fine.
We Demacians are no easy prey. Now that's a bit better.
Oh, we do have to throw Quinn in. Well, we don't. Yeah, we do have to throw Quinn in front of this dum-dum. That's lame. I'm glad I didn't take into account the fearsome. I'm glad we stopped to think about that for a minute.
You're easy to track.
And then how do we feel about clearing out this board? I think taking down the Mountain Goat is okay. Because even if we play Cythria and attack, then we're still not going to be able to take down the goat. But man, we're still going to be at 8 with an active Radiant. It's pretty tempting just to kill... Well, we can't kill everything, right? He's still going to have the Dusk Rider. Maybe we do have to keep the Valor. Okay.
Need repairs?
Let's do this. So we can send the Valor back into the Dusk Rider next turn. Okay. From his viewpoint, he's like gonna drop gems onto the Dusk Rider. I'm surprised he didn't do it already. Ooh, Golden Aegis.
Soldiers to me.
Interesting. He's gonna heal some damages. That's okay. So we can't lethal this turn, which is a bit unfortunate. We can give Cythria Overwhelm, which is nice. Otherwise, these attacks aren't special. I'm kind of tempted to just pass and try and get the barrier next turn. I think that's okay. Right, what happens? Like, we attack. We can't actually kill the Dusk Rider. We're a damage short. You can put the Onlooker down, kill whatever you want. Let's just pass. I don't like this whatsoever. That's better. That's better. So let's see if he opens. Like, some of this can go wrong. You can get like a rando Cygnus or something, but I think this is just much better now. It's going for a Nightfall. Oh god, we might get boomed by Cygnus here. Guess that's it. Frown. Okay. I'm still pretty happy with how that went. I think we were right in the space to where we turned that game around. Just Moonlit Affliction and Cygnus would have been too much for us to deal with. GG. Did we have another option there? We could have played. We could have played the Vanguard Sergeant. Maybe that would have been the safer way to go about it. Give a little bit more respect to his fearsome. I think that would have probably been it. If I'd played that matchup more, I would have probably been a little bit more in tune with the scary cards. All right, bring in the Sentinels at us. Sounds good. Got a reasonable opener here. The Broadwing should get to pick on the little Sentinel. I regret, yeah. I kind of had in my head that I was wanting to. Oh Jesus. Okay, that I was wanting to hit the Vanguard, the For Demacia plus the other card. I think that's probably where we should have been. Okay.
Fortune favors the bold.
All right. So I'm not going to go for like the Protect Misfortune play here. We do have to worry a little bit about him having a removal spell and growing both of his units. God, what a fucking turd in the Wings and the Wave. But I guess that's the risk we were taking. Come on. Maybe that was too much. It just didn't, like, this collection of cards wasn't something I felt really good about playing. We could have done, like, a Durandi Sculptor into Stony Suppressor, I guess, but... yeah, now he's getting bored on us. That was brutal. Brutal. I think we should have played the Sculptor into the Suppressor.
There's nothing a little ingenuity can't fix.
Jace has Challenger.
My shield is yours.
Okay. Might be able to recover out of this. It's just I'm not really amped about all of this stuff being on board, as we're into this, like, requiring this Make It Rain to hit.
Hextech engage.
Alright, we at least got the Buru Sentinel out of it. Also leaves Jace with 1 health. So if we want to attack into him next, or if he wants to try and block next turn. Oh, what did that hit? Did that hit face? I thought that hit Jace as one of those options. Shock Blast. That is unfortunate, my friend.
Firing.
I think this one might be a little out of reach. Oh, that one turn was so painful. Man. Now he's up an additional card with the Financier.
I'm your man. Love
Damn.
me some Reggie.
Love me some Reggie. What? What the fuck is that? Okay. Sure. And so, yeah, man, that's 2 in a row that I'm going to place the blunders on Old Bust. I think we definitely should have beat that Nightfall deck. I think I would have probably felt much better against the Sentinels as well if he would just played Durandi Sculptor into the Stony Suppressor. Just if he wants to start playing spells, it's quite expensive. The Suppressor would then have 4 health to get around a lot of that stupid stuff. That was just like way too painful having the 1 health unit hit. And I think I don't know what the percentage chance of hitting a 1 health is there, just getting the 1 drop, but I mean, it's probably like 50-50 at least. And that's just not good. That's just like too bad too often. I didn't stop and think about that one enough. But here in the mirror, I'm happy enough with starts like this. We're on the even attacks, and so ideally, we'll get the double attack with the Island Navigator on turn 4. All right, my dude. Let's get into the battles. The mirror matches coming at you. Boom. Damage. I wonder if we should ever pass here. Like, if he's going to just play a Durandi Sculptor now. We miss out on the 3 damage, of course, but he doesn't get the unit and it messes up his curve. It's interesting. Okay. Do we bring in the Navigator now? I don't think so. Let's just play a real board here. Like, I don't really care if he has his Island Navigator for the stats. Like, that doesn't seem very promising. Look at this, we got the big dudes now. My dude's ready for combat. I'm gonna put the big attack onto the Sculptor. I don't really care about his Fleet Feather Tracker hanging out. I feel like there's a pretty decent chance we'll just be trading Sharp Sights this turn. But this looks good.
You're covered. A little reinforcement at the seams.
Okay. Sure. Am I right? You got one, I got one. Ranger's Resolve doesn't do anything here as well. He's going to have the next one. It feels like he has a Ranger's Resolve in his hand. The game stalled on the first turn. And that's kind of a common space as to where that happens. Oh, sure. You got your dude. He survived. It's down to 2 cards. We have like tons and tons and tons of card advantage here. He does have an Elite in hand as well, so wouldn't be surprised to see a Cytherea be one of those last cards that he has. Either Cytherea or the Vanguard Sergeant.
Every wave is a path.
Rip Durandi Sculptor. You tried your best. This looks good. We got a Misfortune. We still have scouts on board. I think we're looking pretty ahead here. Let's just lead with the Misfortune. We can follow up with the second unit later. But again, I think his play here is probably going to be Cytherea. Uh-huh. Squad coming in. This gets enough damages up onto Cytherea to where we can now kill her with the Petricite Broadwing, and we get to keep the unit on board. I like it. Picking up a Shock Blast. It's an incredibly relevant 6-cost card to be hitting here. Now the Ranger's Resolve can be a little bit more problematic, but I don't think we can just like not go after the Cytherea. Oof. Oof, nice. What you got? A Genvivi? It's a little unfortunate. I think we need to go ahead and Shock Blast down the Fleet Feather Tracker. The problem we run into here is if he just like hooks both of our small units and then Genvivi hooks the Misfortune. It's a real problem. And so at least with this, like we're gonna lose Misfortune, right? But his Genvivi's going to die, and we're just not getting hit with value hooks across the entirety of the board. We'll take this damage from these units if he attacks. We have the Vanguard Sergeant ready to go in hand. Like, it's a fairly tempting turn to just not attack whatsoever. Have to see what they do. I'd rather, you know, just build up all of this stuff. Okay. Not attacking into Cithria this turn. I say no. I mean, we could attack this turn and drop a Radiant, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be attacking next turn. Ooh. Okay. He is going to have, like, the 2 fearsome units. It's not a big deal.
My life or theirs.
We're ready to gain it all back with the Radiant.
Justice will be served.
Interesting. I think we'll probably save it for next turn, but glad to see the Radiant make an appearance. And now, how is this turn going to go? It's like I'm pretty tempted to put a Bright Steel on one of our smaller units. Right? Let's say if he attacks with everything, well, let's hit this guy. He can still block a fearsome. Can't unfortunately kill any of this stuff, but so he's going to be able... He can't for Demacia this turn, but he can next turn. Okay. We can deal with that. So these just going to bounce off of each other. Oof. Yep, he plays his. And do we just pass? I think so. Alright, next turn. Ooh, that's the stuff there. That's the stuff.
Nothing stands in our way.
He's got a tracker. I don't like super care about too many of these units. Let's just get the Cithria ready to block. Like, he can get some value hooks, right? Well, he can get one value hook with his Fleet Feather Tracker, but we're never getting lethaled here. Okay.
Honor guide me.
Game says neg 7, but I assure you we're gonna do some blocking here. We have good blocks with both the Cithria and the Radiant. We can block like his Cithria if we have to, but I don't think we're gonna have to. What you got? Why don't you just pull them all back? He says, nah, man. Nah, I ain't having any of that. Okay. So the card to look out for here would be a Sharp Sight. So I don't want to put like a 1 health above, right? So it doesn't look like it's going to matter across these, but
Fall by my sword.
does this take us to 5? We lose 1 unit. Do we actually want to kill his stuff? I don't think so. Let's just stop here. Rangers resolve. Okay. These units are all so big. Like, I really want to get in an attack this turn. We don't get very good trades. So it's like, say we boost Cytheria, or barrier Cytheria so she doesn't die, attack with everything. He has a good block onto the Radiant where his unit doesn't die. Definitely has good blocks on some of these smaller things. Yeah, we just can't attack here. That's fine.
Fortune favors the bold.
That's a lot better. It's got 3 1-health units on this board. And we can Quinn plus Aegis this turn as well.
Time for violence.
Looking pretty good to me. Oh, look at all these little dum-dums that can't even block. So the thing to remember with this attack is all of our units keep fearsome, right? It's not your units gain fearsome when Cytheria is attacking. She gives them fearsome this round, and so we can make this attack, and then these Fleet Feather trackers just aren't blocking this turn. Looks like he's just dead here anyways. He's gonna have to shift something. Well, he can't shift enough down, but that would be like the big thing with this attack, right? So we're gonna lose some stuff. He's gonna kill our Cytheria. You say, well, that's all sad. And then we could just attack again, and all these fearsome should be getting through for damage. Ripperino. Nice. Nice little victory. Let's get in there. It's about time for our final battle. Game number 8. Ready for it. God, we almost hit rank 69 again. The important things in life. That was a good game. We've had lots of good games today. This has been fun. It's been fun. It's not like we're just sitting around going like herder. Let's play cards like we're actually playing a game, and then just play ambush on something. All right, well, this matchup is definitely not good. Happy enough to hang on to a Stony Suppressor, but we need to find some more early stuff here. We did. So the thing that can suck with this turn is like I want to lead with the Marai Warden. But if they drop like a Vile Feast, it's incredibly painful. I think we can just go with the Stony Suppressor here and pass. Just say, okay, it's on board. Get ready to pay the price. The downside here can be as if he has a Merciless Hunter. And it's like, I'm not really amped about loading Stony Suppressor up with these barriers, but
No prey.
doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. This is looking pretty decent. Okay. I bet he just drew Vigio. He had to pay the mana for that. I wonder if that was on his things he expected to do today. So not bad. Again, Vile Feast here would be pretty painful, but it's not as bad now that we have Misfortune down. I really like threatening his 3/3 with our 2/1. What's he dropping out here? It can't be a Vengeance. That costs 7 mana. Like the days of old. A 1/1 copy of Ga. Okay. I wasn't expecting Splinter Souls today, but sure. Alright, Alright, so not getting too much in, but it's a very oddly defensive play I wasn't expecting to run against. Alright, on to the next turn, though. So, I mean, if he just comes down here and drops a Vigio, I think that's a pretty big win for us. And I want to be playing a for Demacia next turn. I think for Demacia is going to be better than Cythria because we have the 2 scouts on board. So let's see. Let's protect something. Misfortune seems good. He can't deal a point of damage to her anymore. He can't Vile Feast because of the Suppressor. And we can drop the Vanguard Sergeant afterwards. Give me them stats, please. What's this one going to be? Is it going to be a vengeance onto misfortune? Stony Suppressor's just been doing the work today. Been doing the work. Right in negation. That's kind of fucked up. But sure. Oh, we had to spend the mana crystal on it? Oh, dude. Dude, that sucks so much. So we've gotten 3 mana out of our Stony Suppressor so far, right? He played the Rite of Calling, he played the Sprinter Soul, he played the Rite of Negation, and then we've gotten a mana crystal because he didn't want to sacrifice one of these units. And then now he's going to have to deal with our misfortune flipping this turn. Like it. I like it. Are we just lethal at this point? He's going to flip. Oh, he gets a blocker. So he blocks our 2 3s. He takes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, let's just attack with everything that isn't misfortune. And then I guess surprisingly relevant is we do have another one in hand. And so if he manages to kill this misfortune... Man, maybe we should have just attacked with her. I just had in my head that we're just going to be refilling the board next turn and playing Golden Aegis, but... Man. Maybe we should have hit here. Because she would have been big enough to kill the Vigio. That was... The more I think about it, the more that seems like a mistake. Okay. Well, she would have been dead mid-combat, I guess. Okay, assuming we don't just die to stuff here, we should be able to win with the scout unit plus misfortune flip ability. Right, 2 attacks for 6 damage to face. Okay. The Vile Feast finally makes an appearance. We've been talking about it all day. It finally shows up. So here we can't attack with misfortune. She'll get taken down by the encroaching mist. Oh, this was a bad attack. We should have just hit with the barriered one. We're getting sloppy. We're getting sloppy, guys. We're better than that. Ephemerals are so big. So scary. Much scary from the ephemerals. Okay, I'm just trying to get wider than his board on this turn. Looks like it's going to be tough to do. Has he even seen enough dead stuff yet? Yeah, we really need to win on this attack. You just got to get in for 1 point of damage. We are counting on the misfortune to do it. Ew. Might have thrown this one away. Hmm. So if we're bringing in one of these, can hook the Vigio. Maybe still get a point in with the misfortune. We can get her up to 8 in total. I think we might be okay here. If he has a drain, then we're going to have a problem. But we can get her up to 5 attack. She'll trample through 2. Then is the left tap lethal then? Yeah. Why are we only dealing 3? Oh, that makes sense. This is the mists will go down to 4 health. Okay. No vile feast, please. It would be most unfortunate. Nice. Okay, so we narrowly avoided defeat in that one. I think we were getting pretty close to punting that one. The misfortune attack we missed, I mean, it wouldn't have been relevant. That's not an excuse, but he would have had the removal spell for her. But then that Nightfall game, I feel like we should have been able to take down. But yeah, man, those games were fun. I love playing this deck so much. It's so good. It's so powerful. I don't think people give it enough respect. The same with the Pirates deck, the other Misfortune deck that's very popular these days. Just, I get it. There's these decks have been running around in some iteration ever since the release of the Bilgewater set. The Scouts deck's been around. The Pirate Burn deck from ages ago was what brought forth a lot of nerfs to a bunch of cards. So that's where like Legion Grenadier and Imperial Demolitionist and friends all caught a bunch of nerfs because the Burn deck was too good. Decimate used to cost 4 mana instead of 5. Like throughout the history of the game, they've had a bit of trouble with that deck. But I think the thing that with these decks is, people just get tired of playing it. And you want to play the new and fancy and the new shiny thing, and so they don't get the play rate that they should be seeing. And so again, I still think if this isn't the best deck in the format, I still think it's in the top 3. I think it's better than Pirates. It's just something that people aren't playing a ton of, and so everybody's still out there trying to play with their Sun Discs and their Victors and their Aphelioses and the like, and not giving the Scouts the attention that they deserve. But nonetheless, again, pretty powerful stuff. I'm always glad when we get to see some games where the Stony Suppressor is exceptionally relevant. That there was another one. And again, if you ever get to carry the Suppressor into the likes of a Victor or the Ezreal Caitlyn deck or against Aphelios, it's not something that's going to just completely blank your opponent and end the game because it came down. But the extra mana that they have to spend and the big tempo loss and trying to have these turns to where you want to play a Camaveran soldier and a Black Spear in the same turn, but you can't do it because of the Stony Suppressor. It's all pretty powerful, and you're not really losing out on much to add it to your deck, right? The other Scouts decks out there tend to just be playing like the full sets of copies of Mirai Warden, the full sets of Island Navigator, and then like a Jin Vivi or something. They tend to just pick up a few more of these cards that are the cuttable ones, right? We don't always play Mirai Warden. We don't always play Island Navigator. We don't always play Radiant. Depending on the format, we'll just play 2 Stony Suppressors, but I think it has a real place here with 3. Somebody will listen one day. You never know, man. Maybe maybe somebody will believe us one day that it's the bee's knees. But nonetheless, that's going to do it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. You maybe learned how to suppress those feelings about the Suppressor a little bit better. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.